Definitely been a very hot topic lately in the market, and so we're very excited to have here the executive chairman of Total Metals Corp, Michael Dehn. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Very happy to have you on the show. So let's just get right into it here and talk about the $2.5 billion regional renaissance within the Red Lake district. So how is your team at Total Metals leveraging this massive opportunity?
So we're right between Kinross's Great Bear deposit and First Mining Springpole Lake. They're combined putting in $2.5 billion worth of new infrastructure for their two new mines. Because we're right between them, we get the benefits of all the roads, the power lines, the town expansions they'll be doing, the mill expansions. They'll have to build two mills just because of where everything is located. And being right in the middle with our electrolode property, that gives us a lot of advantages of cheaper infrastructure for us while the big guys are building their mines.
You said the old guard has returned. Can you explain that comment to our audience in terms of what it means for your projects and for investors?
Sure. Well, I started in Red Lake in '94, and Tim Toomey, Rob Penzak, and I were all exploration geologists with Rob McEwen's Gold Corp. And we all started right around the time of the high-grade zone discovery. And we were very fortunate to be there at a time when gold was, I think, $280 an ounce. But we found 2 ounces per ton gold in this mine. So it was an exciting time, and we developed a lot of techniques for interpreting data, how to target gold, how to promote gold. And by putting the old guard together, the old team together, it feels like the band is back together. And we're getting in through our first 3 projects. I think we're going to be targeting 4 or 5 more acquisitions in the next year. But we're targeting what we believe is undervalued, higher grade assets. So we're looking at 10 gram per ton materials, a nice grade for us at $6,000 gold Canadian, where we're almost at today. That gives you a lot of upside, a lot of value, a lot of return for your investors.
It's actually a great transition as well into our next topic, because I want to talk about Total Metals' data-driven approach to acquisitions and exploration targeting. So how are you using modern and historic data to unlock value, especially in a market that is super bullish on gold?
Well, and it's kind of fortunate that Rob and Tim and I have added Colin Bowditch to the team. Colin's an 81-year-old geologist, and he is a VMS specialist, and one of our projects has a lot of zinc and copper on it. And he knows how to interpret that data, but he also takes a common sense approach of not just going for the conductors, but how do the conductors look relative to what's been drilled, combining it all together. Then you bring in Rob or Tim and myself, and we look at a bigger picture, wider regional picture. How does it fit into the regional structures? Does it tie into what Great Bear has? Does it tie into what Springpole Lake is? Is it similar to the structures at the Red Lake mine? Because there are dominant structures all through that part of northwestern Ontario. And once you start putting all the pieces of the Lego together, the picture evolves quite clearly.
That in mind, I want to talk a little bit more about these acquisitions, specifically the West Hawk Lake and High Lake projects. How do these acquisitions come to be, and how do they fit into your overall strategy?
So I was very fortunate. I reconnected with Goldcorp's old investment bankers, Gene McBurney and Michael Weckerly, and they started a new EMD this year. They were working with a company called McFarland Lake that was buying the Juby deposit near Timmins. It's quite a large, low-grade resource, and these are quite high grade but very small resources that we've acquired, where we feel that we can probably do 10 times the volume and grade that's there now just with exploration. We feel comfortable that that's our specialty. That's what we want to go to. We really don't want to go for very large low-grade deposits. One thing we learned when we were at Goldcorp is high grade is king. So being in these deposits in the current market, it's, I think, the right place to be at the right time.
I also want to ask you, what about these 2 projects, other than what you kind of said here, really stood out to you and your team that others might have missed? And what would you want potential investors to know about these acquisitions?
Yeah, most of these targets and on the properties already, there's, I would say, close to 50,000 meters of drilling, but most of it's very shallow, less than 300 feet. In Red Lake, we were down over 7,000 feet vertical. So when you kind of look at how deep you can go on a gold mine and profitably extract the gold, we're really shallow here in Kenora and in Manitoba. So I think it's cheap exploration, great infrastructure, close to the Trans-Canada Highway, but the cost of drilling should be much cheaper than going to Nunavut or northern Quebec or far north Ontario.
Is there anything else that you would like potential investors here to know about Total Metals?
Well, I think you put together a team. David Burgess joined us as well, and he was actually the QP who wrote the 43-101 technical report for McFarland Lake on the West Hawk and High Lake properties. He's now on our board of directors, so he's been able to give us a lot of guidance on these projects as well. So a lot of domain experience internally. And I'd say being on the older side, our team does a little better because we have information in our heads that doesn't even exist on the internet. So we have that little bit of an advantage that old guys have that the young guys have to go look for.
Very exciting updates. Thank you so much here, Michael Dehn, Executive Chairman of Total Metals Corp, for being here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that,
Good job.
Dara and Michael. Much
Okay.
appreciated. Good information as well, too, guys. Very much appreciated. Now, as for the